Live on tape from an undisclosed location near Washington, D.C., it's the Tonight Show of the Paranormal, Way Out There, with your hosts, Jules and Warnock. Woo! Oh. All right, welcome to Way Out There, with your hosts, as you know, Jules and Warnock. We're broadcasting here from the nation's capital, conspiracy capital of the world, near the NSA and the FBI. Let's just go over some ground rules, Warnock, why don't we?
First of all, we're not here to try to debunk people. We're not here to try to believe everybody that comes along. But if you try to punk us, we're going to punk you right back. That's really the only ground rule that we have. That's
right. This just in, Elvis has reportedly been found
dead in the DC used car parking lot.
That's right, Warnock. He was allegedly taken to the DC morgue and positively identified as the King. Our inside source inside the DC morgue then reports that the Elvis very dead body shortly after disappeared mysteriously. This employee of the DC morgue was told after reporting the King missing to back off a little bit, not ask any more questions.
But speaking of Elvis, check this out. There's a webpage telling the story of a Las Vegas wedding couple who claimed that Elvis was actually at their wedding. I think we should call him.
I think let's call him, Warnock.
We'll break him.
All right, let me get the number here. Calling Dennis Frank and Dana Cupper, who claimed that Elvis showed up at their daughter's wedding. Here we go.
AT&T. It's 6 p.m. where you're calling.
That's interesting.
Hello?
Hello, is this Dennis Frank?
Yes, it is.
Dennis, this is Jules and Warnock from the show Way Out There.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
We're doing pretty good.
We're just admiring your website.
Terrific.
Tell us a little bit about your wedding.
The wedding, yeah, it was a wonderful 48 hours where we went to Las Vegas and rented out Liberace's house.
Oh. Tell us about this Elvis.
Yeah, supposedly you had an impersonator that was supposed to show up, but in fact the real Elvis Presley came and, hung out with you guys.
I'm kind of convinced at this point, seeing the pictures and, looking through the website over and over. I have a few of the negatives, and I can only guess. I actually believe at this point that it was Elvis Presley.
It was Elvis.
Everybody knows the myth and, drugs and being overweight and whatnot. And I think God gave him another choice, and he just basically had to start over. And he came to our wedding completely renewed. He was the old Elvis that you see in motion pictures.
The sleeker Elvis.
Yes. And I took him aside and I tipped him $30. Of course, he said thank you very much, and he walked out the back door, and that's the last anybody ever saw of him that evening. I don't know. I'm a pretty good skeptic, but
you sound convinced, Dennis.
Everybody just assumed it was an imitator, and then as we talked about it later the following days, we come to realize that we were touched by his grace. I think the website shows that it was Elvis Presley.
Well, you've convinced us. So, Dennis?
Yes.
Dennis?
It was Elvis Presley.
It was Elvis.
It was Elvis Presley.
Dennis? Dennis?
Yes.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
Bye-bye now.
All right.
Bye-bye. What do you think, Warnock?
Ooh,
BS or not BS on Elvis at the wedding in Las Vegas?
Well, Elvis was always an entertainer. And he certainly entertained there, and we've got the proof of his having entertained them. But as far as that being the real Elvis, I don't know. We should probably cross-reference it against other Elvis sightings, just to see if it's, everything corresponds, and if, scientifically we can prove that there's a single Elvis out there. He has, the same traits as the other Elvises.
Shut up. I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, stop. You can't say bullshit.
He dropped a BS bomb.